Have you ever seen a heating register that looks like this before? We installed a high velocity heating and cooling system in our home over a year ago. I'm going to talk about why we did it and whether or not we would do it again. If you're wondering what a high velocity heating and cooling system is, it's sometimes referred to as a mini duct system. It's basically really small ductwork that moves at a really high speed. This system is most popular in retrofit scenarios where people are renovating old houses. They don't have a lot of room to add ductwork when it used to have baseboard heat, and the smaller size of ductwork makes it a lot easier to add into chases or into existing walls. In our case, we did it primarily because it let us zone our system a lot more efficiently. By zoning, I mean that we have independent control over our first floor, second floor, and basement heat. Okay, so I'm upstairs on our second floor. You can see that we've got a totally open railing from the stairs. And of course, because of that, we're always fighting the stack effect. All our hot air is always trying to rise up to our second floor. And like most houses, if we don't have our zoning in play, the second floor is gonna be anywhere from 3 to 8 degrees difference in temperature from the main floor and then the basement. Okay guys, so here's a quick look at the air handler that runs this system. This is basically the fan blowing the hot or cold air, and you see that we have 2 takeoffs that run the 2 separate zones, one for the second floor, one for the main floor and basement, and they basically run on zone dampers that open or close when they get a cue that it is their time to shine. You might ask, why wouldn't we have just done this with a conventional HVAC system? One, much harder to hide all the ductwork, and 2, they're just not the best systems to zone for a couple of reasons. So here's the thing, when you zone a system, in theory, you're normally only ever heating or cooling one floor at a time. So you're not using the same volume of air to push cold or hot air to the entire house at one time. You're only doing half or less of the house. So therefore you need less fan size and you need less ductwork volume. So this is what the high velocity ductwork looks like. Now it looks fairly large, but that's because it's insulated and there's actually not a lot of volume to it, so it can crunch down into small walls. And what I'm going to show you is that you can see the insulation. That helps keep the sound down somewhat, and then inside of here you're going to see what the actual ductwork looks like. It's this corrugated pipe, and it's only about 2 inches in diameter. So it's much smaller than what you're typically gonna see for your solid metal, round and square ductwork that you're gonna have in a conventional system. So there it is, guys. Okay, so we use this to hide all our bulkheads and have a great zone system. So how did it do on those aspects? It did great. The next question is, why wouldn't everybody do it this way? And there is one simple answer: noise. Hey love, do we have any of those new floss picks?
Pardon?
Do we have any of those new floss picks?
I can't hear you.
Okay guys, so the system is off right now. I'm gonna go hit the thermostat and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna leave this rolling so that you can hear the sound. Right now, this is just the ambient sound of the fan moving fresh air. I don't know if you can hear that. And I'm gonna go cue the AC, so this thing's gonna come on full blast. You'll see the sound difference here. So while the nature of the insulated ductwork is that it cancels the sound transfer enough that you can't lay in your bedroom and listen down in on your parents' conversations, do you remember doing that? It still doesn't create a perfectly sound dampened system. Okay, so there's no denying it. This system is noisy. And even though most of the times in the house we either have music playing or company over or kids yelling and playing, that generally doesn't bother us. But when it comes time to calm down and we start doing the low level activities before bedtime. For example, trying to watch a show or talk to each other in bed. Any of these type of things, that's when you really start to notice that this system does overpower some of the low level noise in your life. It's not uncommon that we'll have to crank up the volume on the TV, rewind to hear a part again, or just wait until the system shuts off to play the movie. Okay, so all things considered, there is some small compromises that we make for the times when this ductwork is obviously louder than a conventional system, and it's definitely noticeable. I think that we would entertain using the system again because the benefits of having those flat ceilings, no bulkheads, all our ductwork hidden, and having perfect temperature control over each floor in our house is awesome. And I think that it outweighs the limited times when this ductwork is intrusive in our sound environment. So all things considered, this one's going to be a go for us again if we ever decide to build again, as crazy as that would be. If you guys want to catch more videos like this, I'm putting out more reviews on the way that we built our home, and I'm trying to pass on any of the lessons that I learned to you guys.